Hey everyone. I know that you guys don't like seeing Tisha's face up there, but it's going to stay up there for a few minutes while we discuss her. Um, I hope everyone's doing great tonight. It's good to see you all here. Hey Shannon. Hey Casey. Hi Amanda. Hey Christy. Hey Becca. Hey True Helper. Hey Ann. Hey Joe. Hi Maui Girl. Hi Angie. Hi Stephanie, Carolina Girl. Wow. So many familiar faces. Thank you all for being here. Hi Melinda. Oh, we can, Glowing Ember. We totally can. Hi Angie Clark. Yeah, I don't like staring at her face either. I don't. Um Hey Ari. Hi Tracy Walker. Oh, I'm sorry you're in the hospital, Tisha. Is it Tisha or is it Tisha? I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Yes, we definitely have the world's best subs, fans, and sweethearts here tonight, and the world's best mods. They are all amazing. Aw, thank you, Lori. She is pure evil, isn't she's just ugh. Thank you, CB. Her eyes are very disturbing. Very. So you're not amazing, you're Joe. You're amazing, Joe. How's that? Hey Dana. Bonnie, actually, I didn't hear about her being fired. I heard about her leaving work in November of 2019. I was going to go over that, but first I wanted to go over the recent most breaking news on her that came out a couple hours ago because I think it speaks volumes. Um, hey, Nana from the West Coast. Hey, Star Angel. Oh, glowing ember, tears or giggles. Last night we had lots of giggles, didn't we? It was sometimes it's good to laugh and just you can't keep it down and negative and sad all the time. We need laughter sometimes. Hey, Olivia. Yes, thank you. Amanda is sharing that link for the Ganon Strong apparel. The order date they have to be ordered by Saturday, March 7th at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So those on the East Coast, that would be like 2 a.m. Sunday, which is actually 1 a.m. Sunday because there's a time change this weekend. So 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Eastern Time because of the time change. Midnight Colorado time. Let's see. Yeah, I have a little bit of inside information on that, Monet. So, are you guys excited for the time change? So, I totally love spring. It's my favorite season. Spring and fall are my two favorite seasons. I like winter, but it gets dreary and yuck and gray and bleak. But anyways, I don't like the time change. I don't know why, but my body functions better on the time that we are on now. I guess I'm a outcast when it comes to that. I don't know why. I do love it getting darker later. I do love that. I do better in the mornings when the time change is like it is now. The daylight time savings thing. I do way better in the morning when we fall back in the fall for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I do love having longer evenings. So she's a sneaky one, isn't she? I mean, she's in the custody of El Paso County sheriffs and the FBI, and she sneaks out of handcuffs. Who does that, you guys? That's insanity. And I'm not saying she's insane. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is bold. Bold. Oh, Dee Dee, we're not really giving spoilers. I think most people in here have already read it. So anybody who hasn't read it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is very scary, Olivia. Very scary. Right, glowing number? Um, oops. The chat's moving fast. Oh, no, I didn't think you were talking to me. I totally get it. I understand. But okay, so I'll read the article and then I'll give the details as I know them. Give me just 1 second. So, KKTV News broke this story at about 6:54 p.m. local time in Colorado. The stepmother of a missing 11-year-old boy has officially arrived in El Paso County to face charges in his murder. Excuse me. She may face new charges after reportedly attacking a deputy during the extradition process. Letecia Stauch was booked into the Criminal Justice Center mid-Thursday morning following a nearly 48-hour cross-country journey from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where she was arrested March 2nd on her first-degree murder charges. Stauch's arrest came 5 weeks to the day after she first reported her stepson a runaway to authorities. 11 News learned that Letecia slipped out of her handcuffs in the back of her transport vehicle from South Carolina to Colorado and reportedly attacked the deputy. Sources tell 11 News the deputy was taken to the hospital with injuries. That's why her transport was suddenly stopped, and that's why Letecia was jailed in Kansas for about 12 hours. She was released Thursday morning from the Kansas jail and appeared for her video advisement in Colorado Springs on Thursday. 11 News asked the El Paso County Sheriff's Office for a comment on the reported attack, and officials said they cannot comment at this time. Ganon's whereabouts remains unknown, but in a somber news conference Monday, law enforcement acknowledged the outcome people across the country have been praying wouldn't come to pass. On Wednesday, the sheriff's office announced he still had not been located. We sadly do not believe that Ganon is alive, said El Paso County Lieutenant Mitch Milhauko. Ganon's shattered mother, Landon Hyatt, said she received the horrible news just a few hours before the public did, that the woman she had entrusted with her son was suspected of killing him. I never thought I would be standing here, she told reporters. This is a nightmare. Ganon's mom and dad stood before law enforcement as representatives from the various agencies involved in the case stepped up to the podium Monday to address Stauch's arrest and promise justice to the family. Stauch is facing charges of first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with the deceased body, and tampering with evidence. Her arrest Monday was the culmination of 5 weeks of intensive search and investigative efforts by numerous agencies, starting with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Until the arrest, March 2nd, law enforcement had refused to call the case criminal, saying repeatedly they couldn't do so until the evidence led them there. El Paso County Sheriff Bill Elder refused to disclose what led to Stauch's arrest, potential evidence against her, or make any comments on the case to date. But the investigation was far from over, he told reporters. We will not stop, and this investigation has only just begun. Stauch was booked into the Horry County, South Carolina jail hours after her arrest and made her first appearance before a judge March 3rd over video. During the hearing, Stauch had questions about her extradition process, but ultimately agreed not to fight her return to Colorado. Colorado law enforcement had 20 days to bring her back, but wasted no time bringing her back to the state. Stauch began her trip back to Colorado a few hours after her hearing and following a short stop at the Saline County, Kansas jail, arrived in Colorado Springs on March 5th. Her first court appearance was today at 1:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the quest to bring Ganon home to his family has not changed. We still want to bring Ganon home so he can have a proper burial, and so his family can achieve the closure that he needs, said Michael Allen, who will be the lead prosecutor in the case. Mahako said investigators were continuing to make progress in locating Ganon. Information has developed that is helping us narrow our search, he told reporters. So I'm not going to continue reading because this article is extremely long, but awesome work on KKTV on this article. It is very in-depth, very accurate, very up-to-date. It was written by Lindsay Grew and Tony Keith, so they get all the credit for that. But as you heard in the beginning, Tisha, she's making quite a name for herself out there. Slipped out of her handcuffs in the back of the vehicle she was being transported in, and she physically attacked the deputy to the point that that deputy had to be treated at the hospital for injuries. Now, if this woman can cause injuries on a law enforcement officer, she's 5'3", 135 pounds. It's really hard for me to even make my mind go to what she could have done to Ganon. It really is, because this is just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. The other information I have about this is that, hold on, I gotta pull it up. One moment. Tisha did have a few bruises today, or it appeared that she had a few bruises, so I'm sure there was quite the struggle. And then, hold on one second. Tisha actually had, this is from an inside source, Tisha actually had the deputy in a chokehold. She was able to get the deputy into a chokehold, according to my source, and she is getting charged with attempted escape and second-degree assault on a peace officer. Those are her charges that I believe are pending, and there was new warrants up earlier, but we haven't been able to get into them yet. So as soon as we get into them and we're able to obtain them, we will definitely release those first thing. But to think that she got this deputy in a chokehold, can you imagine? Yeah, that's what my source says, Manda. This is also the same source that told me back at the beginning of this case that Tisha had fled to South Carolina. So I hear you, true helper. I hear you. We need her alive and well until we bring Ganon back. Then if she should she should so choose. Or are you talking about suicide? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. She appears to be a very, very, very violent person. I was wondering how she could get out of handcuffs, but unfortunately, there appears to be videos instructing people on how to do this on the internet, and it makes me wonder if she studied those videos before, in her time in South Carolina, before the feds came to get her and take her ass back to where she belongs. Yeah, she is something, that is for sure. I'm wondering how. So when they transport them, don't they transport them in like a van or something that separates the police officers from the prisoner? Or it's possible though, she could have snuck them off like in the back seat and they didn't know and they went to get her out for like a bathroom break, and that's how it's happened. Oh, the chat's moving fast, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. The chat is moving very fast. I went to go hit a button and I kicked myself off. But what did True Helper say? But that's probably why the officer needed medical assistance, because those cuffs can double over as a weapon. Plus the soft palate, cuffs can crush the esophagus very easy. Good point. Good point. She is something else. I don't even have words. I don't have words. The audacity, the complete audacity to be under arrest, being transported 1,800 miles across the country because she drove herself or flew herself. I haven't yet figured out how she got to South Carolina yet. I think she drove, but she took herself all the way out to South Carolina with Ganon missing, and that's what she does. I think this is just an opinion and just speculation, but I think she's very premeditated. Very. And it's very scary to me. That's not really like a spur of the moment decision, I don't think, especially considering the circumstances and considering that Ganon, the day that she was arrested, Ganon had been missing for 5 weeks at that point. So, and now we're approaching 6 weeks that he still has not been found. She's had a lot of time to think. It's not like she just, she had to know an arrest was coming. She had to know. She had to know they would catch on to her. She had to know that they were going to get her at some point. So you have to consider that that's maybe something she thought about over that 5 weeks, how she would get away. Natural born killer, that's what it seems like. You've had scumbags use cuffs before as makeshift knucklers or as solid hooks to try and knock me out. They find out real quick that decision was a very bad move. I was really, really, really hoping that they beat the shit out of her. but I was advised that they can't do that. I know they can't. I know they can't. I mean, they can use their batons on her. And then I was really, really, really hoping that she got tased. But I have a good feeling that she got sprayed. So it's very terrifying that this woman was a teacher. And that brings me to this. There was an email sent out just today. I did not download it because I seriously got home about, I don't know, 10 minutes before I came on the live. So I didn't have time to download it to share it. But there was an email sent out. Was it sent out today? I believe it was sent out this evening from the Widefield district, the Widefield school parents. And it says, it was a parent notification. This email is to notify you that a former district employee has been charged with a criminal offense in accordance with Colorado State Law CRS 22-1-130. This notice must be provided, regardless of whether the actions going or giving rise to the criminal charge occurred while the person was acting within the scope of his or her school district employment. Name, Letecia Stauch. Position, teacher. Length of district employment, March 2019 to November 2019. Mrs. Stauch is being charged with murder in the first degree, child under the age of 12 in possession of a person of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with the deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Under state and federal laws, a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, yeah. Hey, Christina. I'm going to have to slow the chat down because I can't keep up, and I really want to be able to interact with you guys. Do you guys mind if I slow it down? I'm sorry. You all have so much to say, and I love it, and I want to be able to interact with you guys. Hey, Irish. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Okay, it's okay with you if I slow it down. Okay, give me a second to slow it down because it takes a minute for me to get into the settings. It's just so much easier when we can keep up with the chat and interact. It's flying, and I don't want anybody to think that I am ignoring them because I'm not. I just can't read that fast. So let me just get in there. So we had known that Tisha had a Colorado license. We have her Colorado license posted in the group. Since we have had problems verifying Tisha's identity, and a lot of the information that we found on her has been, I don't know how to say this, like some information that we find doesn't match up with other information, but we have been able to locate all of her teaching licenses and certifications in all the states. What we could not find was if she was actually working in Colorado, because it wasn't listed on her LinkedIn and it wasn't listed on the background reports that we do have. But now we know that she was a teacher in Colorado until November of 2019. And that's scary to me. I'm going to again advise people to check their state's laws on people who become a teacher, or people who are teaching their students. Just check your local state laws and see what their screening levels are, because she's got violent misdemeanors on her record. It's different to have a misdemeanor like a traffic ticket, because traffic tickets are misdemeanors. But she's got one of them is an assault, I believe, and then the other one is a false threat. So it's interesting. It's interesting that she was even teaching in Colorado. I thought that they screened pretty well, and I think myself and the Real Massacre sorry, I'm gonna say RMT. I'm tired tonight. RMT team, um, have all came to just a group conclusion that the FBI has their hands full with this one. They will track down, you know, the truth about her and her identity. And, if I'm wrong, that's okay. I've been wrong before and I have no problem saying I'm wrong. But it's just there's too many things. Like there's birth dates transposed everywhere. There's different middle names used. Both Lynn and Taylor are used. There's the lack of ability to be able to find her birth certificate, which is insane when we can find her siblings' birth certificates. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right, I'm still working to let's see. Hold on one moment. One second, guys. Sorry. I gotta do something. Okay. All right. I gotta. Sorry. Be patient for just one moment. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm gonna look up Colorado laws later on teaching and what their requirements are. I'm also wondering if it's possible that because her charges were so old that they weren't showing up on the type of reports that were being ran on backgrounds. I don't know. I'm not sure. But we will see. We will see what they say. Oops. All right. We're going on slow mode right now. And instead of making you wait 60 seconds, we'll do 30 seconds just to see how that works. Actually, we'll do 45 seconds. It took me a minute to get in there. Sorry. I'm extremely sorry for the delay. Okay. I think we should be good now. Yeah, I've had to do the same thing for field trips with my children, so that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Um, China Cat Sunflower, I don't think that we know what's true and what's not true. We know what Tisha has said, but is that true? I don't know. I think she maybe chose to leave on her own and then gave some excuse. Yes, Sarah, she tried to get away during transport and she assaulted a police officer. Lori, I agree with you. I believe that she left on her own feeling guilty. I mean, do I think she's a good person? No. I think she's a terrible person. But I do think that there's still a mind in there. And I'm sure it would be very, very hard to be in a home with both parents of Ganon knowing, with Tisha knowing what she did. I don't know how she looked at them. I don't know how she went and picked up Al from the airport. I don't know how she looked at Landon when Landon arrived to Colorado. I don't know how she looked at Lena. I don't know how she looked at Al's mom or how she was able to look at Landon's aunt. I don't know. I don't know. That is amazing, Amanda. 36,011 people have signed the petition for Ganon's Law. I wanted to suggest, I know it's a change.org petition, which is great. I'm gonna look into doing the actual White House petition as well and see what we need to do that. What did you hear? You heard call me mom. That is not true to my knowledge. That was said, but those people that were taken into custody, we have not been able to say that those are her sisters. We know her sisters' names and her sisters that's not her family. I mean, it might be like cousins or something. I don't think so though. I don't think so. It's a good point, Casey. But I think that might play into why she left the house. I think it might have been too much pressure on her to maintain her composure and fake being worried. Or I mean, how do you remain around people, around the parents of a missing child, and ultimately you are the one being held accountable for it at the end of the day, at the end of, you know, 5 weeks, but at that time, how are you able to maintain your composure? Even if she does have an ego, egos are a real problem for a lot of people. And I do believe that she has a very big ego. But at some point, oh, I don't know. Maybe I can't relate to her or understand it because I'm not that type of person. So I always remind myself when I'm not able to understand, that's a good thing, because I don't ever want to be the type of person that can understand the mindset of somebody who does things as callous as this. Yeah, she said she was kicked out by Al. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to know because she said a lot of things. She also said that the El Paso County police officers refused her anything to drink, wouldn't let her leave the police station, wouldn't let her, didn't she say they wouldn't let her call a lawyer? She said that people in the house or no, she said the cops took $10,000 worth of her diamonds. She accused Landon of wearing her clothes. She then went on to accuse Landon of doing this to her own child when Landon lived 2,000 miles away at the time that it happened. So Tisha has said a lot of stuff. It's hard to know what's true. Just a disclaimer, everything I just stated, I do not believe to be true. I think they're all lies. But Gypsy Soul, that's a good question. True Helper might have some input on that. Do you think this was a crazy move or acting crazy for a plea? It's sure I don't know that it's going to get her a plea because she caught some extra charges in it. Oh, that's a good point, Musty. Women's intuition. She knew Landon knew what she knew that they both knew, basically ran from an ass whooping and or death. Women got them cat-like instincts. They just know. Huh. Yeah, women do have very good instincts. I mean, there's also a lot of men that have very good instincts as well. Let's see. Do I need to slow it down more or are we good? Absolutely, Kathy. Absolutely. You're all good, True Helper. Absolutely, Shannon. When you think that this woman, when you think this chick is the worst, she gets worse. Amy and I were talking about that earlier. It's absolutely despicable, Irish. I said that. And I made a couple people upset by saying that, but I stand by that. I mean, if you list all of Tisha's actions over the past 5 weeks, I read an article today that said that Tisha is a defense lawyer's worst nightmare, and I wholeheartedly believe that because she ran her mouth nonstop. Yeah, I don't think an insanity plea would work on that either. I agree with that. I don't think she has multiple personalities. I can see why people think that. I honestly think that Tisha just thinks that she's above the law. She is one of those people. One of those people that thinks she can do and say as she wants. People are supposed to believe what she says. She can treat people how she wants to treat them, no matter if they're a police officer or an 11-year-old child. Yeah, Casey, me too. I know Southern women I'm related to. Many, a lot, tend to not wear earrings, probably so they don't have to pull them out like I do. If you have one, say bless your heart. It's never good. Listen to tone. You may need to run. Absolutely. Yeah, Rhonda, I totally respect what you're saying. I do. I think she looks smug and vengeful. That's what I see. I agree, blonde PT, it won't fly. So let me send a message really quick. What else happened today with Tisha? I saw an ex-boyfriend came out of the woodwork. I actually need to see. Oh, nothing. But an ex-boyfriend came out of the woodwork. Absolutely. Amy, she is a monster. No conscience, no empathy, no remorse. Pull out a DSM-5. I don't need a label. She's a waste of skin. Yep. I agree. I agree. I would love to hear Duty Ron's input on this. I'll have to check YouTube after I'm off of here if he doesn't pop in and say hi and see if he made a video about this yet, because I would love to see what he has to say. Let's see. With all due respect, True Helper says if she was trying to escape, then she wouldn't have tried choking the officer. That's right. That's right. She knew there were other officers there, so suicide by cop is my bet, Danielle, in my opinion, of course. True Helper, I appreciate your opinion so much. And I dropped a link if you want to come on as well. You had shared with me that you thought that maybe it was suicide by cop. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
That it was attempted suicide by cop. And that does fit. You know, maybe she was trying to get them to shoot her. I'm sure they wanted to. I don't doubt that they wanted to shoot her. But I actually believe that one of those law enforcement officers did want to shoot her. Did. And it probably took everything in that officer to not shoot her. But at the same time, they need to find Ganon. So props to those officers. Can you hold on 1 second? I got to take this call.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
No. I got you.
All right, hold on.
No problem. Yeah. So this is some crazy stuff. I mean, I thought this was a just generic, not generic, but, uh, you know, she was just being transported, and then this news came out, and it's a little crazy. And I buy into the suicide by cop too, honestly, but I also think that this was an opportunity for her to claim abuse or something like that, even though she was the initiator. That's just me. I think she likes appearing in court with the bruises. She's she's such a waste of skin. That is the only thing I can think about with her. And she's obviously dead inside. Gypsy Soul, I'm afraid that she want to keep this location to herself, and I think she's going to try to commit suicide to do it. Um, well, she, to me, this is just me. To me, she looked like she was in one of the like prison uniforms that they use when you are on suicide watch. But I'm not sure. Yes, I'm on the back deck holding it down, Tracy out. But I'll tell you, crazy Florida. It was 90 degrees today, and now, right now at night, I think it's like 84. So it's like freezing or like total humidity. So thanks, Joni Lee. And Mata, that interview, she went from saying officers violated her rights to express she said officers were great in doing their job. Right? Crystal K, turtle suit. Yes, that's the word. Thank you for that. I couldn't pull it from my brain. I actually just stopped sort of working 20 minutes ago, so my brain is readjusting. Thank you for that. Yes, Texas Angel. It does sound like a Netflix movie. I'm not trying to minimize it at all, but I did see, or I did say to Danielle today, this is just playing out like a movie. Every time you think there's going to be this little lull or something else comes up. Tracy L. Vegas was warm today as well. Thought it was me with hot flashes. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, turtle suit. You guys are funny. Yep. She's a piece of work, right? Donji, I think that's exactly what she was doing. I think she was, I think from day one, she has been setting herself up to be a victim. Um, she, as far as the premeditation, when Danielle was talking about that, I mean, I can't, from a legal point of view, tell you that that's true. I can only give you, you know, my opinion for whatever that's worth. But she definitely has had her ducks in a row. She's had little bits that she's thrown out along the way. She had her the video of that she took by accident, and I'm putting that in air quotes, ready to go when the time came. Uh, yeah. So whether or not the act itself was premeditated, she's definitely been. Um, hmm, she's had a plan for a while about how she's going to handle this. Tracy Walker, do you think she'll talk in jail? I don't know. Sparta, that's exactly what I said. So Sparta says, I think she was just realizing she will never be free, and that was an attempt to get away. Of course. I mean, by the time she got to Colorado, that's it. The door closes, and until she goes to trial, or if she goes to trial, um, unless she's not convicted, she'll never see the light of day again. Rhonda Blackburn, nope. My background is not in law. I have a lot of friends that are attorneys, and I rely on them to answer my legal questions. I'm very lucky that way, and um, I'm extremely lucky in that way. I can send them questions all day long and get responses. So no one has believed her from the start. She knows what the public thinks. Angie
Oh,
Clark.
I am so sorry.
You're
So sorry.
fine.
That was my grandmother calling and I had to take it.
Aw,
Yeah.
of course you did.
Had to take it. So I apologize.
I don't know. We were just kind of talking about how I said she looked like, for lack of a better word, like the uniform of the scrub she was wearing today.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like what you would be wearing if you were on suicide watch, and they're all saying that's called a turtle suit. So I learned something new
Yes.
today.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that earlier. It is called a turtle suit, and I have more information on that. I'm glad
Do
you
you?
guys were talking about that. Yes. Um,
Crystal K. All her Sawbuck ladies or anyone that speaks will try to write statements to her to get a deal. Jailhouse. Oops. What? Jailhouse snitches have always been a thing, and she's not smart enough to shut her mouth. Oh, I think she'll run her mouth because I think that's the type of person she is. But she's a
yeah.
little, I was telling Danielle today, she comes off as someone that's a little scrappy, not afraid to
Yeah.
hold her own. An Irish
So
city.
the turtle suit, hold on.
Demita, she does not like to be told what to do at all. No. Tisha likes to run the show, I believe. This is going to be a very humbling experience for her, and that's why I worry about if she hasn't already told him where Ganon is, that she may hold that as leverage. That bothers me.
Okay. So this is from one of the Real Massacre Talk team members who has extensive knowledge on this. Usually any high-profile offender has to do a 48-hour suicide watch when it's a high-profile case, but El Paso County always has to let offenders be presentable in any hearings, except it's interesting that when you're in a turtle suit, you're basically naked in them because you're on suicide watch. They get to do things when they're on suicide watch. She gets nice things, actually, not nice things during the day, but if this will make this will make you guys feel a little bit better. So while she gets things like music during the day and constant contact with somebody because they're constantly
Checking on her.
checking on her and keeping an eye on her. At night, she's basically given like next to nothing of a mat, probably comparable to a yoga mat to sleep on the ground on. So,
And no blankets or anything,
and
right?
no blankets or anything.
Right.
So if it makes anybody feel better, tonight, Tisha is sleeping on cold, hard concrete.
Oh, just say it like she would. She's going to be sleeping naked on the floor.
Yeah.
Good. I just feel sorry for the people that have to look at that.
Yeah, I kind of think that too, Mama Crazy Curls. I do. That it's a game and it's about her being famous. Me is all she thinks. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi, Killer Crimes.
Maybe that's one of her middle names, Letecia Mimi. Oh my goodness.
Too funny.
Night night to you. Hope there's bugs on the floor, Shannon.
Yeah. Hi,
Don't live
1
in
Hour
Paris.
Drive Floors. How are you?
Oh, that's right. We should congratulate Doodle. That's a pretty big thing. It's going so fast.
Oh, do I need to slow it down again?
No, no, no. Can you?
I
It's
can. I
going
only
pretty
have
fast.
I only have it at 45 seconds right now. So I'll put it
Okay.
on 60. It is going very fast. You guys are amazing.
You are. Oh, thank you for your service, Redwood 556. That's awesome. And I just wanted to say, I'll read Doodle's comment. My only child is officially a soldier in the U.S. Army. He signed today and will be leaving at the end of this month. Pray for us both. We will, and thank you for his service. And that is a testament to his mama that raised him to have a heart like he does, because you've shared some other things about your son. He's a pretty amazing kid.
Yes, congratulations to Doodle's son, and congratulations to you as his mother. That is
Yes.
quite the accomplishment to have your child
Serve their
enlist
country.
and serve their country, and I know that makes you very proud. That's amazing.
It is.
Um,
Oh, Jess Harris. When I said I don't know who she will talk to, I was meaning other inmates who won't be near them. Hopefully not. She's so high profile, Danielle. I mean, I can't imagine that she'd ever be with other people. Do you? I can't see them making that decision.
no. I don't think she'll ever be with other people because, like you said, she's so high profile, and that puts her at a risk. That puts
Mm-hmm.
her at a risk for physical harm because people do not, people go to prison for many things. But one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I think all of us know is very highly frowned upon in prison is
child
child
crimes.
abuse, child crimes, child murder, child molestation. So if anybody's been following, because the Gabriel Fernandez documentary came out on Netflix, if anybody's watched that and is following some stuff that's been shared about him recently, or actually not him, his egg donor in
Oh,
prison, she got the shit beat out of her in
good,
prison.
good.
So yeah.
Right. She'll be in her cell all the time. Yeah. Yeah. We're
Hold on one second.
sure.
No, no, I meant for this comic. Bonnie
Oh,
O, you're saying Tisha was notified the Friday before Ganon's disappearance that her teaching job had been rescinded. She only went to orientation at the school district. That's interesting because the school district that released the statement said that she was employed there from March of 2019 to November of 2019. So if you have a way to reach out to me and show me where you um
found that.
found that, yeah, I'd really like to read that and see if it's. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're not credible at all. I just like to really research and find the facts
Right.
behind stuff.
It's
And yes,
also
Amanda,
go
I'm
ahead.
glad you brought that up. I'm gonna go over that as well. You
It's also
reminded
very
me.
close to what happened when she was in North Carolina. She actually did like in service and orientation, and then she took another job at another school district and violated her contract. It sounds very similar to that. I know it gets confusing out there,
Right,
but that would be interesting.
right. All
Yeah,
right, let me.
sweetly creeping in. I can't even imagine now that
You
what
guys,
hell it was to deal with her.
I apologize that I do not have any of these photos uploaded to share them with you. They are in our Facebook group. Um, I feel bad because I didn't do my part to get them all loaded before I got home. I've had a pretty busy day, so please forgive me for that. I'll just go ahead and read the order of re-expanded media coverage, unless you wanted to. I probably cut you off, Amy. Sorry.
You didn't cut me off at all. I'm just going to tell you before you start that Ari Lynch said that they just sent you a message.
Yes, thank you. I actually saw the notification come up, Ari. I will get back with you in just a second. Somebody else just sent me a message too that I saw. So I will look at both of those in just a moment, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I might be able to get them on here. They are in the Facebook group. So I just want you to know it's not that I'm not trying to provide the documents and stuff. It's just crazy day, crazy day. So the order of re-expanded media coverage, Amy actually was able to obtain this today. So thank you, Amy. It states that the people of the state of Colorado versus the defendant Letecia Stauch. This matter comes before the court pursuant to a request for expanded media coverage filed by KOAA TV for the advertisement potentially rescheduled for March 5th, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. The defense filed an objection with the court has considered the court has considered the factors set forth in Chapter 38, Rule 3 of the Colorado Supreme Court Rules and Fines. There is no reasonable likelihood that the expanded media coverage would interfere with the rights of the parties to a fair trial. The court also finds there is no reasonable likelihood that, I lost my place. Sorry. There's no
You're okay.
reasonable likelihood that the expanded media coverage would unduly detract from the solemnity, decorum, and dignity of the court, and expanded media coverage would not create adverse effects that would be greater than those caused by a traditional media coverage. The court grants the request for expanded media coverage. The limitations set forth in the conditions for coverage in Rule 3 apply subject to any specific policy set forth by the El Paso County Criminal Justice Center. Further, recording will be solely of the advertisement in this case and will take place from the lobby of the El Paso County Criminal Justice Center. The order applies only to the request for expanded media coverage filed KOAA TV for the advisement potentially scheduled for March 5th or March 6th, 2020, and does not authorize any other entity to engage in expanded media coverage. This order does not authorize any entity to engage in expanded media coverage for any proceeding other than the date in the proceeding specified herein. Any entity desiring expanded media coverage of any proceeding other than the referenced herein must submit a separate request for that specific proceeding. Done this 4th day of March 2020, signed by the county court judge.
Yep. And they're going to have to file every single time.
Yep. Yep.
And that's good. That's a really good thing. Danielle and I had a long discussion about that today. It just means that they will have a record for considering the impact that'll have every single time. And if they had given a blanket answer and just said yes to everything, they could have been deemed as disruptive or what have you. But this way, nope, they've dotted their T's and crossed their I's. And I know I just said that wrong, but
yes, Tamara, they have to redo it. They have to resubmit that request for every court appearance, it appears. So on the 11th, the media will have to resubmit another one, and then
still there?
Yeah, and then I was just and Mata, I actually know where that video came from. So they have to redo it for every hearing, unless on the 11th, for the 11th one, the judge could advise that it's set forth for all further proceedings. But the way that this one was worded, I don't believe that
they're going to do it on a case by case basis, most likely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to see all of your questions. I'm trying.
Oh, good. You guys speak blonde. Yay.
Yeah, you speak blonde.
Wonderful.
That's great, because sometimes we can be a little flighty on here sometimes. I'll own it. Sometimes I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. What Amata, is it family or is it I that's something else. Okay. You guys, we're trying to give her privacy right now. So it's so sweet that you're asking.
Yes, it's very, very, very sweet, but we do have to give her privacy and try not to say her name on here. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or
no,
just know that I am she's okay. She's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. She's doing okay. Yeah. No problem, Mama Crazy Curls. I have some crazy curls too. I love your guys' names. I love your YouTube names. I completely relate to some of them, and I'm like, huh.
We were just talking about that last night.
Yeah.
It makes me smile when I see someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Tambra, you're very, very sweet. And we know it comes from a good place. And what Danielle said comes from a very sweet and loving place too.
Yes.
So we will pass it on.
Yes. Yeah. She's okay.
Most definitely.
She's okay. And just so you guys know, if there was anything that wasn't, I would let you know. So, or if there was any
Absolutely.
messages to be passed on, I would let you know. I think it's just right now she needs her privacy and space and all of the above. So,
Right, right. You know,
I can't share another creator's video on here, unfortunately. And I'll be honest with you. I will be on. I'm going to be 100% candid here. I've seen the video. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. The creator of the video, I have no ill will towards him, but his name was one of the names that was brought up by Undisputed Truth. And I think while I don't believe that he's involved in any way, shape, or form, and I would never incriminate that against him, he did create a GoFundMe in the beginning of this case, and I don't agree with that because he was just an average, everyday citizen, to my knowledge. So, um, I think that's more like a personal YouTube account that he created that on. And it is a gorgeous video. It is, but I don't want his link shared here just for different reasons. I appreciate it though. I think it was a Facebook group, and I'm not sure that anybody even paid attention to his name, the person who made that video.
right.
I caught it, and yeah, I don't agree with that whole GoFundMe that was created by him. I think I don't like it. So he's not related to the family in any way, shape, or form. So, I know she shared it. I do know she shared it, Becca, but I'll have to look at that post and see. And I am so sorry. I have to take another phone call.
No, no worries.
Um,
No
I'll
worries.
just be 100% honest. I had a cousin who passed away earlier today, pulled off of life support. So I have to speak with family really quick. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, guys?
Sure, do what you need to
Thank
do.
you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy 48 hours for Danielle, and she appreciates all your condolences and love. And I think like coming on live, and we had a really nice conversation about the chat today, and we were just saying when we come in here with all of you all, we feel like we're hanging out with friends, and it's a really great community, and you all support each other. And just watching the chat right now and your words for her is a testimony to what we were talking about last night. So thank you all. Wow. Okay, Amanda. 36,040 have signed the petition for Ganon's Law. That's 29 people more than when we came in tonight. That's awesome. Even if you already, I can't talk. Even if you've already signed, share with your friends and family. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I'm so glad you're a mod, by the way. Yay. Yes, prayers for Danielle and family. Very much so. Thank you, guys. That's very, very sweet, and it means a lot to her. So, really, Doodlebug, 13,000 in the last few days. That's amazing. Jenny, thank you. You're very, very sweet. Thank you, Redwood 556. It's so nice that she can be so transparent with you all, and you all support her with things like that. Well, Silver Music, we're just glad you're here. We're just glad you're here. Just knowing you're here is good. So, oh, Amanda, you should feel welcomed. And that's shared by everybody here, all the mods and the chat, everything. I think it's awesome. I really do. Debbie Loving Vapes, my heartfelt condolences, Danielle. That's very sweet, Debbie. Thank you. Very, very sweet. She needs some good, positive energy around her right now. Oh, China Cat, you're just full of such nice compliments. Thank you. She is a wonderful creator. She is. And and she works very hard. Very, very hard. Puts her heart and soul into this. Any free moment she has, it's a balance for her. So, oh, and Mata, you're so funny. Can't hang with the ballers from the other night, but I appreciate RMT team's time and all you do for us again. And that's very sweet. And yeah, don't compare your everything is a gift. Thank you. Oh, you all are just so kind. Glowing Ember, absolutely. She does. And you know what? It does show her dedication. It's also, in a way, I think therapeutic for her because this is a place where she feels good. So thank you for being that place for her. Redwood has to go put his two youngest to bed. Good night, everybody. Well, good night, Redwood556. Thank you for being here. Oh, as always. Danette says the internet can make you feel lost sometimes. I appreciate the kindness here more than I can say. So thank you. I appreciate your kindness too. I do, all of you. Like I said, tonight, it Danielle, I was just telling them, are you back?
I am back, and thank you guys all. I saw all of your sweet comments. Thank you so
Oh,
much. And Ann Mana, thank you so much for the super chat. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
yeah.
And thank you guys for your kind words. I don't like to put my personal stuff out there and totally not looking for sympathy or anything. I just didn't want you to think I was being irresponsible and taking phone calls. There's a reason for it. So figured I'd just be honest. So
Best policy.
yeah.
There's somebody that never learned that lesson. I don't know who that would be. Tisha. Oh,
Yeah.
humble and kind. That's right.
Aw. Yeah, family first. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did you hear me telling them that um when we come to this chat we feel like we're hanging out with friends. Like we can cry
We
with them, we can
do. We were
joke with
talking about
them.
that earlier, you guys. We cry,
Mhm.
we laugh, we all just chit chat and
They support
fun.
each other, and it's just nice to watch.
Aw, thank you, Tamra. I'm glad that you
Oh,
thought that it was probably something important. Yeah, I don't ever take phone calls when I'm on live, so
oh, Jennifer. Did you see that? Jennifer Kavinsky?
aw, thank you so much. You're so sweet, Jennifer. Thank you.
It's so sweet. Uh, Jenny Anderson, it is a beautiful thing and it's a rare thing and it shouldn't be. It's just Joan in this chat.
Is she in here?
She might have slipped by me, but I see people saying hi. Hi, Joan.
Aw, yes. It's a very happy chat in here. Oh,
Yes,
hi, Just Joan. There you are.
there you are.
I will never. I promise you guys, I will never be a mean creator. I won't yell at you. I won't. That's not me. I'm here to be kind to you and give you information as I know it and interact with you as much as possible and not give you a hard time if your thought is different than mine. I actually enjoy hearing different opinions. I love it.
I do too. It makes me think. I like
It
when I
makes me
have.
think too. It makes me think
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel? I want to get some input on this because Amy, we were talking about this earlier.
Okay.
How would you feel about a live that went over reasonable doubt. Not because we believe Tish Tisha or that we support her in any way, but just to like get some of the legal things out there that are coming that we will see and that probably will happen in Tisha's case.
Tracy L likes the idea.
You like that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we love you too, Joe.
Sparta. We have talked about that. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's a possibility.
What does that say?
Star Shooter Boy says, I think that's a good idea. Just worry about the family listening and telling her. Well, you know, we talked about that too. But it's going to be discussed at some point. And I think the angle that we kind of talked about is when when certain things are presented as evidence, what the defense's response to that could be. Is that correct? Is that kind of
Yes.
what we were?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not going to give pointers to the defense.
Right.
They're smarter than me,
Right.
at least I know that. I don't have a law degree.
Yeah.
Ever practice law, but
I think it would be great to go over just if anything to give everybody out there an idea of what to expect and what you might see because believe it or not there is reasonable doubt. She does have that. Every
she
defendant
does.
has it.
Oh,
And the defense will 100% use that.
just Joni wants to have a meetup.
Just Joni, that would be amazing.
That would be so
I would
much
totally.
fun.
Do you drink coffee, Just Joan? I would love to sit down and just drink coffee with you. I feel like you are full of wisdom and advice and
Me too.
kindness.
I think she met everybody.
Oh yeah, no, everybody. I was
Yeah.
saying myself, like I personally would love to meet up with
I
her.
would
And
too.
gotta move my chair, guys. Sorry, it's loud. I'm over here with slippers on my feet. This is how real I am. Telling you, I got slippers on my feet.
Stop. Oh, Amy Soros calling and what did you say? Okay, wait, Tracy L. Calling and giving them a dive from back deck talking 100 miles per hour. I could that love you. Yep.
From your back patio.
Oh, somebody asked me about that earlier. It's hot here. I told you that today when I was in my car. It's just,
Right. I'm with you, Mama Crazy Curls, that you said you reasonably doubt everything that comes out of Letitia's mouth. I do too. I
mm-hmm.
do too.
But just like Manda said, in every little lie, there's a little nugget, a little bunny dropping. No, bunnies
Yes.
are too cute.
Yes.
Just a little nugget of truth.
Shannon, they are just actually gray, fuzzy, like super fuzzy, like um sweater slippers.
Ooh,
I
that
don't
sounds
know. I forget the brand. They're like really comfy, a really good brand that my mama bought me for Christmas, and I
fun.
love them. I love them. Jill H, he's doing good. He was actually riding his four-wheeler today, him and my youngest son, and my house is currently covered in mud. I when Amy tells you I've had a crazy, crazy 48 hours, I have truly had a crazy 48 hours.
Yeah,
Really
you have.
72 hours from a kid having surgery to, losing a family member. And then I had a very busy evening and my house is covered in mud.
And then she's calling me because I'm in my car doing stuff, and she sends me this text, and I pull over on the side of the road, and I'm like, what Tisha did. What?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Becca,
gosh.
that is a great point. How do we decide what to believe and what not to believe from Tisha? That is a great point. That is a great point. Um, the
We
problem,
could
the problem is that I wonder if she will take the stand in her own defense. She seems like she is that type of person. And although we know she's a liar, she's going to put her hand on that Bible and she's going to swear to tell the truth. And unfortunately, if she goes on the stand, what she says, they have to take it into account. Not that it's going to clear her of any wrongdoing, because I don't believe that will ever happen. But she gets that right.
she does. And you guys asked me earlier about my background. only going to say I'm going to say this because I'm going to give you my opinion on something in a minute. I want you to know that it's an informed opinion. So, I have a
Hold on.
background in what?
Bernadette said that would be a short live.
5 minutes.
Oh, I know you want to
Um,
give your opinion. Just 1 second. What big
sure.
eyes? I am still covering the Casey Jones case. That's going to be heating back up soon, so stay tuned. If anybody hasn't followed the Casey Jones case, there is a playlist on my channel, and I have a lot of interviews on there actually with people who knew Casey, who was brutally murdered, as well as Michael, their employers, and Michael's brother. Actually, I interviewed him. So that is a very, very interesting case, and another case that is very close to my heart. Now, I'm sorry, Amy. I
Oh,
cut you off twice, but
no, never apologize. Never. No, I was just gonna say that my background is kind of in people and how they present themselves. Maybe is a good way to put it without being really. I don't really want to give out specifics, but it would be, in my opinion, and the people in my field, regardless of what Tisha is being charged with, it would be a mistake to put her on the stand because she is what, unfortunately, I know this sounds harsh, she's a very unlikable person in her natural state.
mhm,
She doesn't come across very well at all. There is a very limited demographic of people that could even begin to build a mental, like, I don't know if it's like a mental rapport with her. Um, Anybody that allowed her to get on the stand, I think that would just be tragic. So maybe we hope that she gets on the stand, but I'm just saying, if you were, I'm sure her defense team has that sized up already. You could see her today when she was on camera, the way she was looking at the camera and in and out of the shot. She's they I personally think they should have her at a table with her head down, really, not even looking at anybody. Danielle, are you still there? April Hill, she's not credible. Yeah, well, Danette says it's absolutely true, Amy. It would be terrible for her fence. It would tear her lives apart. She's just her her body language, her eye contact, um, some of her gesturing, her tone, her delivery, um, things like that. We're just starting to see her eyes, like when she's in front of the camera for these appearances and stuff. She's just not a good representation for herself. She's just not. She's not likable. I don't think too many people could um, empathize with her.
yeah, she's pretty hard to like.
And I say that even like despite her charges, I would say if she was a witness for somebody like in a different case or whatever, and there was a choice between 3 or 4 witnesses, I mean I think they would strike her from that unless she had something really impactful,
Right.
because she's just not, she doesn't have a good public face at all.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to put
A
a bag
public
over her
face.
head.
Yeah, a public face. She doesn't even
No.
have a good face at all. I can't stand her. I have
Mm-mm.
no problem being blunt about her. Um,
I know. I just didn't want anybody to think I was like attacking her physical appearance. Like, you know what I mean?
right. Oh no, I just don't like her face because of who she is. So
Oh
that makes me,
yeah.
like when I see her, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm not like shaming her looks or anything. I just, ugh.
Yeah. It's funny. Amanda brought up Jodi Arias. Do you know last night I put side by side a picture of Lori Vallow and Jodi Arias?
Did you?
They look a lot alike, and they turn their mouth down in disdain
Oh
the
boy.
same way, especially with the glasses on. Yeah, it was weird. But I was gonna show it to you, but I think that like we started talking about something else.
Yeah, we do that
Weird
often.
things I do with my time.
Oh, I'm checking on one thing. We'll probably wrap it up in about 15 minutes or so. I just wanted to get the information out about. I can't say it without laughing, and I feel horrible about Tisha assaulting a police officer. I like,
So
who the
yeah,
Fuck does that? I'm gonna
Tisha,
spell it because I don't
and
want to
can
use that word,
but can you picture in your mind what that had to look like? She's so little.
right.
She had to look like a toddler jumping on somebody's back. Like what do you think it's small fry? She's
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
shimmy up their leg and say hi.
Yeah. Christina, are you still down there? I just want to double check. I don't know if you are or not. Doodlebug, she looks witchy and bitchy.
Oh my gosh. You guys. Nuttier than a bag of peanuts. Oh, I like that one. That's good, Majojo. I like that one.
Don't mind my dog barking.
You know, like you like that I called her a spider monkey. She's
Oh
like a
my.
rabid spider monkey.
Yeah.
Yes, Christina's still
Don't
here.
bark. Shh. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure she was here before I.
They're part of the Real Mouse Co-Talk team.
Yes. Meet my dogs. Rocky, Corona, and Zeke. Every one of them are essentially rescues. I did not name any of them. And I love them all. Yours are all squared away, True Helper. Well, if you want to come on for a little bit, you're welcome to. My little dog, Rocky, was my parents' dog. And when my stepfather died, he asked me before he died if I would take care of him because my mom worked at the time full time. And my stepdad was sick. And he said, will you take care of Rocky for me? And I said, yes, of course. And he said, just until I get better. Sadly, he passed away, and Rocky has been with me for 6 years now. He is now blind. So I have a blind dog. And then I have my 2 huskies, Corona and Zeke. Those are the true rescues.
Aww.
I love them.
Our little old lady, Helen Keller, is blind and deaf.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Mojo, did she assault someone? Yes. Tisha assaulted someone. She
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's the fact that she has the the what do you call it? The audacity to
Yes.
do these things. Yeah, she named her Helen Keller. Amber. That's a real name for her dog.
Stop. No, that's not her real name. So she
It's just what you call her. I know.
that's what I call her, and
I
she
know.
can't hear me anymore. So and I love her. But she tries to kill me all the time. And Danielle has heard it before, so it's a long story.
Oh.
Yes, she
Um,
does get more charges for the
she's
assault.
got she's
Absolutely.
got 2 charges.
Hopefully, she got a charge from a taser too.
Actually, I heard that the spray to the face is
Oh,
a
really?
lot, a lot worse, but I personally hope she got sprayed and tased and all of the above, but
I hope she had to change her pants. I'm just going to say that. Or they didn't let her.
yeah. Aw. That's awesome, Doodlebug. Your father lost an eye to melanoma, and that summer I adopted a dog that was born with one working eye. That's so
Oh,
sweet.
that is sweet.
So she is facing 2 more charges. Her charges are I have to pull it up.
Jeanette says her audacity is like the diamond story. You just can't help but laugh at how bad it is. You know what? That's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. Like you say you can't make this, you know what up. Like
Right, right.
I
So
mean sometimes go ahead.
her charges that she's getting charged with is attempted escape and second-degree assault on a peace officer.
Wow.
Yes.
They can always add more too.
Um,
Oh, tidbit. Tiddlywinks. Oh. Yeah, Sparta, she was a little roughed up today.
she was.
Yeah. Debbie, laughter is good for the soul, yes. And yes, she is a train wreck. But I have to tell you, when I got the text about it today, I thought it was a joke. Because
She
in my
did.
wild
She was like, "Is this real?" And I was like, "Yes, it's real. It's being reported across many news agencies."
it's like there's no way. Like I can't like I just I can't with
It
this
was
woman.
too unbelievable to be like when I first read it, I was like, "What? She did what? What did she do?" Like I'm like, I told Amy, I'm like, "I just told everybody last night that this case is like an onion. There's a lot of layers." Or I just said it recently. This case was like an onion. There's a lot of layers, and I didn't expect that layer. That was out of the blue. Never
Oh,
saw that one coming.
you know, there's no other comparison really. So nobody get all excited that I'm calling her a serial killer. But you know how Ted Bundy like starved himself to get through the ceiling? Like that's how crafty her mind is. Like
Right.
she's always calculating. Actually, you know what she is? She's the GPS in your car when you don't make the turn. Recalculating. That's what she's doing all the time. All the variables, and she's just sizing everything up.
Oh, someone just
China cat, you're funny.
It was somewhere between South Carolina and Colorado, and I would, if I had, I'm just going to guess on this. I'm going to guess that it was pretty close to um, the Saline Detention Center in Salina, Kansas, because that's where they took her. So I would imagine that it was pretty close to there, at least within a certain radius, you know.
So I want to see like her Netflix or her Hulu history. It's like The Fugitive, Con Air, The Great Escape. Like she's like been studying.
She makes Catch Me If I Can or Catch Me If You Can look like,
Yeah,
you
except that guy
know,
didn't commit violent crimes.
no,
Yeah.
he didn't commit violent crimes, but he was very, very
Yeah, crafty,
crafty. Yes,
calculating, one
calculating.
step ahead. Yes,
Just Joan.
underestimated.
Oh my goodness.
What did she say?
She said, bitches do what bitches do. I I think I want to frame that. Oh.
Oh, take a screenshot. That's awesome. Okay, Joan, you won. You won the comment of the day.
You win the internet tonight, Just Joan. You win the internet. Oh, Just
There you
Joan.
go.
Doodle wants to know if you say that like your son, Robbie. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we know it has slow mode on. Chat was really, really going fast, so we had to put it on slow. Yes, Shannon, we need that. We need it embroidered on a towel.
Yeah, like
100%.
needle point on the
Needle point.
wall.
Yes. I know somebody who makes those. I'm gonna see if she will make one.
Oh my gosh.
She'll probably be like, "You want what on a needle point?"
Oh, Texas woman, she does. I'm not saying that word again tonight. I'll get myself in trouble. But
I'll
yeah.
say it. What is it?
Well, it's not a bad word,
Oh,
but
she's got balls to do what she
oh god.
I don't know, Glowing Ember. They might they might razz him about it a little bit, but
He deserves a t-shirt. Like I got jumped like by Letecia Stauch.
bitches do what bitches do.
Hashtag
Survive the spider monkey.
the rabid spider monkey.
Doodle bug by the t-shirt. Well, hello, true helper.
You better be careful. If
Yay.
you insult her too much more, she might jump up and punch you in the kneecaps.
I would love for her to do that because I just said earlier, I'm not a violent person, but this is one woman. I'd put up a fight. Let me tell you,
Then she's qualified for a severe ass whooping.
She is.
Or, as we used to say back behind the woodshed.
Danielle, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't hear True Helper, so I'm gonna.
Oh, I
Come
can
back.
hear you.
Yeah. So you can't hear him. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll drop you a new link.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So thanks for joining us. I know you had some things that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of the questions earlier. Typically, the transports that they have, it's mandated that they have at least 2 to 3 officers that I know of. Usually, interstate transport of any prisoner is at least 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So her doing what she did to me just really stinks of her trying to possibly get them to do something to finish her off. I don't really want to say the word, but yeah. That's a very typical thing too amongst people that have reached a dead end, or more than likely she doesn't want to give any info up at all. It's just like the which was the case that just happened where the guy locked himself in his garage and tried to, or he committed suicide.
Photostoulos?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yes.
I was trying to think of who it was earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And his estranged wife, I cannot recall, forgive me, you guys, I cannot recall if they were divorced or going through a divorce. When she went missing, I don't remember if their divorce was final, but her body still has not been found, and he was being charged without a body. So,
And I know with this woman, she's pretty vain herself, and I know she wants to play the victim card and all that. But I could see her pulling a Doulos on this one because she would probably do that just to spite everyone else. You know, the way she would control her own daughter and talk to everybody, and then speak how she did of a little boy that she knows obviously she did what she did to him. Yeah, I could see her. I could see her shooting the old bird and then trying to pull something like that because
right.
you don't go behind an officer and start choking him without thinking. She knew the other officers were around somewhere. I mean, maybe I don't know what the.
I'm sorry.
I saw it too. We're not laughing at you. Not laughing at you. Our chat is very witty and comical. So
Hey, at this point, we have to be.
I'm so sorry.
Doodlebug. Sorry to interrupt you, True Helper. I'm
sorry.
That's fine. Jill H, why do I think they drove versus flying? Well, probably because it is, and it sounds odd, but it's a lot cheaper to drive her versus flying. Because plus, then when you get a prisoner transport like that, now, and pardon me, I'm sure Duty Ron would know, but I'm sure a U.S. Marshal would have to be involved in all of that, you know, on the plane. So
Can you imagine being on the plane when Tisha went spider monkey?
They would have just tased her and caught her and like left her drooling.
I've been thinking the movie Con Air all day after I read that.
I know.
Thank God this woman was not on a plane. Thank God.
They would have hit her little short butt with 75,000 volts and called it a day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Night. You drooling.
I mean, yeah, she obviously has zero respect for anybody.
Yeah.
So if she did
has
that,
nothing to lose anymore.
Right. She did that in the back of a transport vehicle. So we could assume that she would have did it on a plane too. I don't know what her attempt on a plane would have been. But yeah, I just think of the movie. I thought of the movie Con Air all day, and I thought, thank God she wasn't in the air.
She's like Sam I Am. I do it on a plane. I do it on a train. I do it on a prison transport bus.
I was kind of surprised why they didn't still have the waist shackles on her, though. I mean, the fact that she had the ability to raise her arms that much, or at least I assumed that she would be in full shackles. Usually they have the leg restraints that come up to a waist belt, and then obviously her handcuffs being fastened, just like we saw in her first court appearance.
Right.
Where you saw her sitting there, and she was at that time had that very waist shackle on. So I don't know why they didn't have that on her, and she had the ability to do what she did. But obviously, I mean, who knows what the exact details were of that? She may have been planning that for a while, and then like saw her opportunity and took it. And that's why I really do think she was trying to get that word by cop, trying to get herself taken out. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. And somebody else had also asked about they asked if I thought there would be a change of venue. You know, as publicized as this case has become, and obviously it being, I'm pretty sure it has to be within the top 10 most involved missing persons cases that I can ever recall off the top of my head. I don't know what the actual statistic is, but I would have no doubt that her defense team would argue for that, only for the simple fact of her being tried where it all took place. They're going to probably try to argue for, you know, a bias of some kind and a contaminated jury pool just because of the, the media being all over the place like they've been in that area. So I could see that. You know, they're going to do anything and everything that they can And not to mention, I wouldn't be surprised if they try some kind of temporary insanity thing. But I doubt that would get any legs to it at all because of how outspoken she was, especially online. Her little social butterfly having butt was all over the place, trying to create this and spin this narrative that she was the victim and the police were all wrong. Everybody was all wrong. Hey, but we all still got to apologize to her, remember? Yeah, not.
Right.
Yeah, she can shove her apology up her ass.
And
That's how I
Shoot the
feel
Moon
tonight.
can shove their comments there too.
How? Okay, is Shoot the Moon just making repeated accounts under Shoot the Moon?
Yes, I think so.
This is stupid.
It is stupid. Just don't waste your time because we don't even care. We're just gonna we just press a button.
Yeah. Take my advice. Go do something positive with your life.
Yes.
Life is short, believe me. I mean,
or there are other channels that like this kind of stuff, and
I
you
could
can have
send
some
you
fun
to a
with them.
few.
Yeah, I know a few too.
Aggie had a good point. She said, there will not be a change of venue. There wasn't even one for James Holmes. It is extremely inconvenient for the attorneys to go out of the area, for one thing. I see what you're saying, but they don't necessarily have to change the venue. What they can do is pick a jury pool from another town and sequester them in Colorado Springs.
That's true too.
So that has happened before.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, Joni Lee. But I think that her defense team is going to do anything and everything that they can, because I heard you saying earlier, imagine being her defense counsel. Yeah, they've got their work cut out for them. That's for sure. I'm sure she's probably at this point going for a public defender. I don't know. She said that woman had somebody for her already, but who knows where her lies begin and end. But I could see him in the DA's office saying, "No, you take this one. No, you take this one. No, you take this one." Or
yeah, yeah. I think that she had a public defender, definitely.
Yeah. Niece Casey Anthony did not get a change of venue. She was charged in Orlando, and they picked a jury pool from Clearwater, Florida, actually Clearwater and Largo, and brought them to Orlando and sequestered them because it was important to prosecute her here.
Right.
There were reasons for that, and I feel like there are reasons to prosecute her in Colorado Springs. So.
Oh, and one last thing to add to Jill H's question. Another reason why they typically will drive most, high value prisoners like that is because of the exposure, and that unless if they are on an actual prison transport, which that's rare by itself, or on some other kind of private, which they would never go a private airliner, they would do commercial all the way. They now have the possibility of something dangerous happening. So, they'd rather be on the road and face a situation than being stuck in a cabin with a couple hundred other passengers that might, you never know which way that might go. So,
okay. Sorry to interrupt you guys. So I had spoke earlier, and thank you for everybody who emailed this to me or messaged me this. I had spoke earlier about Tisha, the email that went out about Tisha from the school district saying that she had worked for them from March of 2019 to November of 2019. And Colorado Sun has another article. Letecia Stauch was going through an orientation for a job at Mountain Ridge Middle School and Academy School District 20 when her employment offer was rescinded. She previously taught elementary school in the Widefield district. So let me clarify. The Widefield district sent out that email letting their parents know that they had a teacher who previously worked for them up until November who has been charged with these crimes because they had to. In the meantime, Tisha was going through orientation for a new job at Mountain Ridge School in Academy School District 20. I'm going to read the article really quick. It's not super long. It says the El Paso County woman charged on a murder charge related to the disappearance and presumed death of her 11-year-old stepson was fired from a middle school teaching job just days before the boy went missing. Letecia Stauch was going through orientation for a job at Mountain Ridge Middle School in Academy District when her employment offer was rescinded, the Colorado Sun has learned. Academy District 20 rescinded her employment offer after finding inconsistencies in her employment application, district spokeswoman Allison Cortez said. Cortez did not elaborate on those inconsistencies. She said Stauch did have access to children and that the district is currently in the process of notifying Mountain Ridge Middle School students and families. Stauch previously worked for Widefield School District in southern El Paso County. District spokesperson Samantha Briggs said Stauch, who received her Colorado teaching license in March 2019, was a substitute teacher in the district during the spring semester of 2019. She then was hired at French Elementary, where she taught from August until November when she resigned. Briggs said Widefield School District has notified parents of Stauch's employment with them. Stauch was participating in 3 days of orientation at Mountain Ridge Middle School in the Briargate neighborhood of Colorado Springs when she was fired on January 24th.
Oh my God.
Just 3 days before Ganon Stauch went missing.
Wow.
Wait, I have to look at something here. I need to.
This is
But I'm sure in Tisha's mind that would win her Teacher of the Year award. You know, it was everybody else's fault. It wasn't hers. She got bullied out of there.
so the inconsistencies that they found. This district must do a different type of screening than the other district did. Again, I would encourage everybody in every state to check with your state laws and your school districts and see what their screening process is for hiring teachers. Because we know that she worked in both North Carolina and South Carolina and now Colorado as well. She worked at least one school in Colorado as a teacher, and she has a violent criminal history. Again, they're not felonies, but they are violent misdemeanors. Wow.
You know, this is no fault of anybody, okay? But I had to look at the calendar because I couldn't count on my fingers because that was a lot of information all at once. But I've never in my life believed in terminating employment on a Friday. There's a lot of psychological studies that talk about how it's a recipe for disaster because there's nothing people can do on the weekend really to be productive. They don't necessarily get up like they always would. I mean, it's not their fault or anything. The other thing I'm going to say is you guys remember that where she taught before and where she got her first licensing, they did not fingerprint. And sometimes when it's unfortunate, but sometimes when somebody is taught in another district and they know that they've been cleared to teach there and their license is active and all that stuff, if there's a teaching shortage or something like that, they will float stuff through HR and it doesn't get caught until later.
Right. Well, that's kind of what she did. It looks like that's what she did in South Carolina and North Carolina.
Right.
I can't recall. Was it South Carolina that her license was suspended for 6 months, right?
Right.
Okay. So in the meantime, before that suspension was issued, before it was granted, she gained her North Carolina license 1 month prior to her South Carolina license being suspended.
She's calculating. She's always one step ahead.
Yes.
She's got grifter qualities.
Yes.
And she's been doing this for a very long time, I suspect.
So now we know, I can totally see where firing somebody on a Friday is detrimental, especially to emotional health, because, you lose your job and who can survive in this world without a job? Most of us You know,
Most of us can't.
yeah, most of us can't. Most of us work hard. And I can honestly say I've seen my employer when they made cuts a couple years ago, none of those cuts were made on a Friday.
No, when you study like organizational behavior and management techniques and something like that, there's a lot of psychological studies that advise against it, and especially with I hate to bring it up, but like workplace violence and shootings and things like that. Um, there's no proven statistics on firing on a Friday would do that, but you you want people to be able to get up the next morning and apply for a job, basically. Is the thought process behind that. It's you don't leave them with a lot of being productive on a weekend after receiving that news. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, hey, I lost my job and now I get to kick back this weekend. You know,
That's true.
so
That's true. And Amy,
right.
I'd say that your suspicions are very well founded, given the fact that this woman had up to and maybe over 10 different aliases. So you're right.
Right.
She has been at this for a very, very long time.
I
She's
think
very
later, Amy and I will maybe do some research on how to get a petition started to go to the White House. This is something that does need to be addressed. I feel strongly about this.
I do
Like
too.
this should be a federal law. This shouldn't
Mhm.
be a law that is left upon the states to make a decision. And I'm not throwing any shame at any state or any school district because everybody does everything different. In general, we like to believe that teachers are good people.
Yes.
Right.
And I believe that, but there's always the possibility of that one person. So,
So I will tell you, I know this is not so I would like it to be expanded if we could talk
sure,
about that,
sure.
because I know of a case locally where somebody was in the process of being registered as a sexual predator, okay? Not an offender, a predator. And they they were under what do you call it? Like probation. I forgot, supervised probation.
Mm-hmm.
And in the time it took to get all the legal stuff done, they acquired a job at a convenience store and a part-time job driving a school bus with elementary school students. And so only told their probation officer about the convenience store job. How, if you want to talk about access to children, school bus drivers, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I've heard stories where people have actually, or certain districts have actually hired known drunks that have driven school children for years, and something finally happened. And then some of the parents even would say, we knew about this person. So, yes, it's scary. But
Horrible.
also, that's why everybody does have a right. And I'm fully on board with, say, contacting the White House and finding out, how to go about doing something like this. I would say it actually starts with calling your congressperson, man or woman alike. But I don't know how much faith to put into that. But I mean, that's usually where it'll start at, depending on the state that you reside in.
Manda just messaged me actually, the petition information. So we're definitely going to look into that because maybe we could bring to light, that this isn't something that's federally mandated. It's governed by the state, and
Nice.
calling the Congress, your Congress spokesperson, that is an absolutely great idea. I think being proactive about this is a wonderful thing because she is the perfect example of somebody who does things like this. And like Midsummer Madness says, she was moving from a middle school to an elementary school, ? Elementary students are easier to abuse.
Yes. And
That's scary.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
And then I had highlighted this comment as well. Sparta said they demand federal background checks for buying a gun. Then there should be a federal background check if you're working with children. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. State of North Carolina, shame on you for not.
Yeah.
or not?
Well, and to be fair, she got through that one district in Colorado. They hired her and she worked there as a
But
substitute teacher.
but I also believe that Letecia is very smooth, and maybe when we talk about putting our feet in their shoes and walking around like them and imagining things, like creating scenarios. This is what I see with Letecia. I see Letecia handing in a stack of paperwork and leaving out some information and nobody finding it for 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
And that buys her some time.
Right.
I just do. I think she is, I don't know another word for it, but like grifty. Is grifty a word?
Yeah, and she's calculated. She's
She is.
manipulative. She's been doing this for a long time.
And she's got an answer for everything.
Mm-hmm.
She's ready. She's got it.
Well, her answers are about to run aground now. So for a while, she thought she was in her own little ocean doing her own thing. But guess what?
Right.
Party is over, as they say.
Yeah, her choices are going to be like commissary corn chips or ramen noodles pretty soon.
It's the government cheese.
Right.
I have plenty of that. And good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
But I hope they do have her, or they end up holding her, or having her on a psych hold, so that way she doesn't have the ability to do whatever it is that she thinks she's going to do. Because I can see her trying to pull something stupid like that. And even if nothing, for nothing else, she might try to get a, some kind of a diminished capacity case to her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Would they audit? I mean, if she assaulted an officer, which she did, would they automatically? Do you think they'd automatically put her on a? I mean, it appears that she's already on a psych hold. Everybody's saying she was wearing a turtle suit, which is a new word I learned tonight. But would that automatically warrant her like facing those extra charges plus first-degree murder? Like, hey, we're not even going to take any chances with this person.
Oh well, they definitely have her in full body shackles right about now. I have no doubt about that one. I mean, heck, they may even have done what they call the old hog tie, where they end up putting her legs up behind her back and her arms the same way. But since it's such a long journey, I kind of doubt they would be able to do that the whole way, because she would scream and cry that her rights were violated yet again. But just like they do with inmates in a prison, when an inmate acts out or tries to spit or bite the guards or whatever else, they put him in a wheelchair and put like almost a Hannibal Lecter type of mask over top of him, and then put spit guards and everything else.
Right.
Yeah, she's going to learn real quick. She may have been able to pull her tricks on everybody on the outside, but not within the DOC. Nope.
Right.
And
Tracy Owl says you can buy fake degrees online and fraud paperwork if you're a fraud, and she is. It's interesting, and Danielle and I have talked about this before. We found her listed in the alumni magazine under doctoral candidates.
really?
And yeah, and her Danielle, correct me right away if I'm wrong, but her actual name that she uses is Tisha, not Letecia, right? Which is odd, because it should be what you have on your driver's license, correct?
And your birth certificate.
Or birth certificate. Whatever your legal name is, but of course that's a whole big old gray area with Tisha too.
Right.
So yeah, that too, that she has so many aliases. I think anybody trying to do a background check, it would just be this big, just a vortex of nonsense, run around, whatever. And I don't know if somebody would just be like, well, it looks like she's okay, and push it through. I don't know.
Right. Absolutely.
Lufa, you don't have to STF you. I saw what you said, Lufa, and I've seen you talk about this before. So please, I was actually thinking about you when when Danielle was talking. I understand that you do have knowledge about how those things work, and I would be interested to hear.
Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
She keeps saying, the change.org things don't work, that you do have to go to Washington. You do have to have somebody lobby you
Right.
to really make a change. Like the petition just kind of brings, please sign the petition no matter what. I'm not saying that. Please, please, please sign the petitions. Those petitions, though, are to bring awareness.
Mm-hmm.
They don't automatically, if you hit a number, make something happen
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. And that's what she was saying. She's like, you really have to go about this another way.
Yes, and
So
I appreciate her giving that
I do too.
insight. That's why I was suggesting the um, White House petitions.
Right.
That she
Okay, I'm
had.
glad you're not upset. I'm glad you were half kidding. It's hard to read sometimes. I just want to make sure we value you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And from what I understand, change.org is a for-profit. It's not a not-for-profit, right? The one that
Yes.
I
but it's
think
still good.
I don't think you can get an org address without having what is it, a 501(c)(3)?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure about that, to be honest. That's a good question.
Bernadette, that's interesting. She can't seem to hold a job. I wonder if she taught in Alaska. She did have a license up there, so that would be interesting to know. She didn't last in Alaska very long. So
Yeah, this has only just begun. Believe that. For everything we know right now, I'm sure it's probably going to quadruple by the time this hits the courts.
oh, yeah, I think that um I think we're all going to be on here talking about this quite a bit for a very long time, to be honest with you. I do. Because Tisha is not a cut and dry type of person when it comes to her character and her rapport and everything about her. She is
Absolutely.
I'm not even sure she's named Tisha. I'm not even sure that she's named Letecia.
Well, and you know,
I'm not saying she's not, but until I can find her birth certificate, I'm sticking to my word. I don't know what her name is, her legal name. Something's happened along the way, and I don't know what it is yet. So
a funny thing happened on the way to the penitentiary.
yeah. Yep.
I had this bright idea after being charged for murdering my stepson and child abuse. I had this bright idea that I'd slip out of my handcuffs and put an officer in a chokehold and assault him.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I bet her name is really David Copperfield.
Yeah.
She's gonna say, I didn't do that. They did this to me. They did this to me first.
And keep another thing in mind too. This is why this is going to get so deep. And I agree. I believe, Amy, you said something, or maybe both of you did earlier, about this being a Lifetime movie, because with each and every single alias that she made, you have to know that there was a certain time period in her life that she used that by. So what was she doing when she did it? What was she into? Who was she running from then and there? And from one to the next to the next. I mean, Lord knows she probably has warrants in God knows how many states. We just don't know yet. I mean, I'm sure there's
At one point, she lived in Washington State. I still need to look into her history there, to be honest with you.
because they have her on these charges right now, but I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of background research that's going to start to come to fruition, and the investigators are yeah, they're going to have a field day with her.
Happy Harry, she would, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole yet because we're working on some information about that. People obtain Social Security numbers often, unfortunately. I'm not saying she did that. I don't know that, but that is something that we are working. Oh no, Amy, you had a 911. Are you okay? That is something that we're working on in the background right now. Oh, I hope Amy's okay. Should probably check my text and see. Okay, she said she'll be back in about 10. Okay, so we'll just mute her till then. Oh, you're helping your kid with the math emergency? Aw, it is getting late. I hate math too. I actually just
Yeah.
hired my oldest son's girlfriend to tutor my youngest son in math because
They do it totally differently than when we
yes,
were
they
in
do
school.
that whole Common Core stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, why do you do this? Why do we need 35 steps? I don't know how to do this. So, yeah.
Yeah. From division, I mean, you can't do anything the way that you used to, but it all comes to the same sum total. I don't get it.
Loofah, you still count on your fingers and toes, Ella. That's funny. Poor
Yeah.
Al's gonna have a hell of a time trying to figure out who to divorce. My gosh. Oh.
I think that one's pretty much a given.
Yeah. Thank God they took Common Core out of Florida recently, 1-hour drive floors. I wish they would take it out of here. So
I don't know. Sometimes I think they just like to complicate things just to keep kids busy.
I guess it's crazy.
Do we know if there is an actual list of all of her aliases that we can?
I have one in our group. Let me find it.
Beautiful.
I'll actually read one of our team members' posts from our group because it's actually pretty funny. Just the way she worded it.
Is that listed chronologically as far as like from when she first tried to use alias to date?
It's not, but I will send it all to you, and it would be all chronologically there, like you can see it. Because we have all the teaching certificates attached and everything that we can find.
Because that'll say a lot about her activities and what she was doing during each one.
Let me locate it here. So this is the post from one of our Real Massacre Talk team members, and she is also a professional. She said, "I hope the FBI is paying attention. Run her through the DNA and fingerprints again." Colorado has charged Letecia Leanne Stauch in the murder of Ganon. I think we kind of came to the general consensus that maybe that was a typo because her middle name's Lynn. And if she said it, maybe it sounded like Leanne. But anyways, and, my team member went on to say, TT, who you be? Who is T? T has used the following first names. Letecia, Tisha, T. Middle names Lynn, Leanne, Taylor. Last names Sampson, Hardin, Hunt, and Stauch. Hunt comes from her deceased ex-husband, Chance MacArthur Hunt. And then, of course, we know Stauch comes from her current marriage to Eugene Albert Stauch, which we are pretty sure there's, that's not going to stay in place. She has the following birth dates in public records. January 1983, April 1983, August 1983, August 1984. She has criminal records and current teaching certifications. How does that happen? She has suspended teaching certifications and current certifications. Again, how does that happen? Something is not right. This looks like she has multiple ID cards and or a social security number or multiple social security numbers. South Carolina criminal records. Letecia Stauch, date of birth January 1983. Letecia Lynn Hunt, date of birth January 1983. Letecia Lynn Hunt, date of birth August 1983. North Carolina criminal records. Letecia Lynn Harden, date of birth August 1983. Letecia L. Harden, date of birth August 1983. Letecia Harden, date of birth August 1984. Virginia criminal records. Letecia Lynn Harden, date of birth August 1983. So that is something we are currently working on. And what we have noticed, there's also just like on some different background reports and stuff that we've pulled. So the April birthday is like April 8th, 1983, right? And then the August birthday will be August 4th, 1983. Like she's interchanging the 4 and the 8.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting.
That way it might be a little easier for her to remember too. Something she can commit to memory.
Yes.
Plus, it sounds like too with the with all of her, the majority of her jobs or job applications or certifications being within the teaching field, she may have very well recognized a universal flaw within these school districts, and that may be why she chose, teaching as a profession, because she realized, maybe even by chance, when going from, say, her first teaching gig to the next, that they weren't as thorough, and that she was able to exploit that weakness.
Right.
So that would stand to reason as to why. I mean, I've heard of criminals doing that before, where if they spot a flaw within a system, or, even some prisoners do it in jail sometimes. They learned how to manipulate like commissary at times, and being able to just do a multitude of things. But anyway, being as she's an opportunist and she obviously likes to exploit things.
Yeah, it's very alarming. So I'll send all that to you because I know that you have the ability to maybe look a little deeper into that for me.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be a lifetime, maybe by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
No doubt on that.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Amy, are you back with us? I'm going to have to give you a new link because I think after a certain amount of time, those links expire, unfortunately. And I think that's why when you come back under the old link, maybe, I don't know. So here's a new link for you. I'd love to hear what Duty Ron has to say about her attacking this police officer.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yes, definitely. And I think you're pretty spot on. Maybe it was an attempt to do the whole suicide by cop thing.
And it'd be the best thing. I mean,
shoot me and kill me, because I mean, most of the time when cops, now I'm not saying most of the time, but cops do have the right to shoot.
Yes, they do.
When they're being attacked.
When they see one of their own under attack, they're allowed by law to, how do they say, to suppress that situation by any means necessary. And
right. Tracy Floyd, to answer your question, unfortunately, I do not believe that there is any chance that he could be alive. The FBI, along with El Paso County Sheriff's Office, has stated that he is no longer here, that they do believe him to be dead, and now they are just trying to recover his body based on evidence. And when you couple that with the charges against Letecia for first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a human corpse, and tampering with physical evidence, it really tells the story. I hate to give up that hope that he isn't alive, but I think, at this point, we do have to be realistic, and we just need to hope that they can go find him.
Right.
Let's find him. Let's bring him home, and let's give Ganon the proper send off that he so much deserves. So much deserves.
Let's protect his dignity and all that.
Right, his dignity, and let his family have some kind of peace, at least knowing where their little boy's body is.
Exactly.
It's horrible to think that for the rest of their lives that they are alive, they are going to have to go visit a grave for their 11-year-old child who was murdered.
Right.
But it's even more horrible to think that if he's not found, they won't have that opportunity.
Right.
And yes, true crime enthusiasts, forensics of fluid. Well, I don't know what you mean by forensics of fluid, but a lot of things can point to a death, such as an amount of blood that was found, different types of forensics like luminol, and then DNA testing of any blood found, as well as cadaver dogs that may have been used on vehicles.
Tissues.
Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot that True Helper might have a little bit more input on that, on how they would determine, that he is no longer alive.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
Pup's running amok right now. I mean, typically, you about covered all the bases there. I mean, typically they would go in with the luminol and spray the area and find how many areas were covered with blood. They would find anything that was soaked or saturated, and these bloody boards and all that stuff as well. I mean, I think they had a pretty good idea. And next, the other bigger thing too is all of her communications. I mean, she very well may have led the investigators down a very, very positive path to her just incriminating herself, and she just maybe thought she was able to delete text or get rid of some kind of email history. We just don't know yet. Obviously, we'll know once the case is all said and done and she's thrown behind bars where she belongs for the rest of her days.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I mean, they usually don't judge it by hair or the amount of hair that's found, but again, tissues is also another good a good way of figuring that out. But usually, then you're talking about
right.
On it.
Right. I mean, I think I think it's important to consider that they did extensive grid searches for almost a week that were productive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and not to be, I don't know.
Just say it.
Okay.
Yeah, just say it. You're good.
Tampering with a deceased body.
Right.
Is, yeah.
That can mean quite a few things too.
It can. Well. It can, yeah. It can mean concealment. It can be moving, transporting. Mm-hmm. It can mean a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But
it can mean desecrating a human body.
That's what I did want to say.
Thank you. That does mean it falls under that category in the Colorado Penal Code. So,
right.
Mama Crazy Curls, I'm sorry I cannot confirm rumors. I wish I could. We really, really try to stick to facts here, and it's no insult to your question or anything like that. It's just I don't like to speculate on the rumor mill because the rumor mill is very large. I've seen a lot of rumors.
Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of false documents online too, things like that. It's hard.
Yeah, Tambra, her mom's name is Deborah. From what we've seen on social media. Yeah, true crime enthusiasts. Those statements made by Tisha are alarming. They are.
Yeah. And that story just kept evolving.
What article is that, Amanda? I must have missed a comment somewhere. Sorry. Oh. Oh, I'm so blonde. I highlighted your comment. I'm sorry, Amanda. Sorry. Sorry. So Denver 7 published the article that you saw today that people in Lorson Ranch neighborhood are wanting to have a park built to honor Ganon in addition to the street name.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah. So I'm going to read something here really quick and we are going to wrap it up. It looks like True Helper had to step away. But yeah, Tracy, I did notice that she has been quiet and you just reminded me. I'm making a note. I've got to the point that I've had to leave notes for myself because the last 2 weeks have been an absolute just, whew, oh my gosh. But I am going to go back because I have some things to say to her, some more things to say to her.
Uh-oh.
I hope that Christina's still here because I really wanted her to hear this when I read it. But
I know what you're going to read.
yeah. We're eventually we're going to have something made with this put on it. And this is on behalf of Real Massacre Talk. And it was written by a family member of one of our team members. And it is a letter to G-Man. I think we're going to end the live on this note. So if you guys want to light the chat up blue for poor Ganon, little Ganon, light the chat up for him. Christina's here. Good. Okay. G-Man, as I tucked my children in for the night, they begged for me a story to be read. As I looked through the hundreds they have heard before, I said, how about I tell you one instead? You've heard of witches and toads and princesses and knights, but this is a different story, one you haven't heard before tonight. This is a story of a hero, one just about your age. My son's eyes widened with a smile on his face. It's the story of G-Man, who dreamed of flying and protecting the ones he loved, and the joy that he brought. Since the day he was born, his parents knew he was special, because even at birth, he was stronger than Superman, defying so many odds. His smile was brighter than Iron Man's suit, and his sidekick against crime, you ask? Well, it was Sonic, of course. His biggest fans were his family, his mom, his dad, and his sisters from day one. But you see, this hero did what no other one has done. There is always a villain, and this story is no different. You see, the villain of the story wanted to take away his powers, take him away, leaving no trail to follow. But like no hero before him, when it came to this mission, he defeated the villain and brought together a whole nation. People around the world knew his face, his name, and heroic act, and the world's newest, bravest superhero was known as G-Man, and that's a fact. He continued his missions even when he cannot be seen, but he will forever be remembered when we speak his name and tell of his legacy. Ganon Strong. So we are going to have that printed up with a picture of Ganon and share it with all of you. It is very special and the words are beautiful, and Ganon deserves so much more. He deserves so much more. I know we've joked and, tried to make light of just the things that are unbelievable, but at the end of the day, it's unfathomable. It's unfathomable how a woman
The nightmare.
could do such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, didn't mean to make anybody cry. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful tribute to him. And he deserves so much more in this world. He really did. He really did.
Did. He did.
He did. On that note, aw, yeah, it does, Tracy L. It does, Tracy L. Keep lighting it up for Blue, or keep lighting it up for Blue. Keep lighting it up for Ganon in the chat. Somebody did have a good point earlier that if you noticed the courtroom when that monster was arraigned yesterday, the judge had a blue tie on and all of
Yep.
the chairs were blue. And so
Mhm.
I like that people look for little signs like that. I love that kind of stuff. I truly do.
Symbolism.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thank you so much, you guys. Thank you to all of my mods, Christina, Joe, Amy, True Helper, Irish, Shannon, Doodle, Amanda. Mignana's not here, but I love you so much. And
Yes.
yes.
Mignon needs lots of love right now too. So.
Yes, yes. Mignon is the sweetest girl, and
Mhm.
she needs a lot of love right now. So I love all of you, and thank you all so much for being here. And for everybody who hung out, all the subs, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Thanks for sticking this out with us. This is going to be a long ride to justice. We're going to find out a lot.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to be stunned by a lot. In the meantime, keep hope alive for Ganon to be found and brought home to his parents. And Amy, of course, thank you for coming on panel.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on panel, True Helper. Oh, I love you too, 1 Hour Dry Floors. It is Glowing Ember. It is a family member of somebody on the Real Massacre Talk team wrote it. So, yeah.
Tracy, yes, that's a beautiful idea.
Oh, I should. I probably will do that. I love that. Thank you for suggesting that.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I'm going to go, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I
Good night,
appreciate each and every
Danielle.
one of you. Good night, Amy. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Yes, and don't forget to pray for law enforcement and his family. You're right, Becca. Everybody have a good night.